Freezing our tushes off or what? Not you Florida folk. It is cold today. Who wants to get us started with some good vibes? Who's got something going good in their world? This is an interactive call, guys. I see your smiling faces. All right, Tracy, come on.
Okay, it's not real estate related, but my grandson got here last night from Jersey and I'm super excited.
Awesome. 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 That's definitely what this time of year is all about. It's amazing. Yeah, I love doing the music at the beginning of the call, and it's just amazing what a little tune can do for your mood. So awesome. Anybody else want to share something before we dive into some real estate?
Hey,
Yeah,
did we do gratitude yet?
yeah, that's what we're doing right now.
I got a whole boatload of gratitude for Shaston. Are you on?
Shasta.
Yes, I'm here.
Hi, Shaston. I called Shaston. Shaston almost witnessed a grown man cry at 6 o'clock on a Saturday. I was panicking. I needed a certain document. And Shaston picked up the phone at 6 o'clock on Saturday, took care of it, jumped on her computer, sent me the form I needed. So I have a huge amount of thanks and gratitude and debt to you. So I appreciate you taking care of the situation on late on a Saturday.
No problem. I was happy to help. And I think it helps. I literally just went through the same thing that he was calling about. So it was perfect.
Teamwork, love it. So in my trying to put some themes together, kind of haven't told you guys what each day I was thinking about. I know we have our Finance Friday, but I'm thinking that Monday is a Market Monday. So we can kind of talk about some market trends. Obviously, if there's some real estate news that is kind of taking over, that we should hit on that. But we might be able to talk about some things that are going on in the economy, kind of what buyers and sellers are thinking. Maybe you do price adjustment strategies depending on what the market's going and doing. Maybe some outlook stuff. We get some data along those things. And so today, I just took a quick peek before the call at Keeping Current Matters. So Keeping Current Matters is something that we subscribe to. I think most of our agents probably don't even know that we subscribe to it, but we do. And they give some great market insight. I would say these guys are the best source of market data. And the other kind of cool thing that they do is give you cool shareable content. So I just want to kind of go over a couple of things that I saw. Let me see if I can share my screen here. Boom. So they've typically got like a blog going. And the blog that they've got going right now has to do with home equity. So they put this kind of cool stat out there. And this is the type of stuff, guys, when we're talking about just becoming the market expert and throwing stuff on social and educating, just utilize this. It's an easy share. You don't really have to do anything. Maybe this is the type of thing that you could do a poll and ask which one of these buckets do you fall into, right? It's anonymous. Nobody's going to know what people pick, right? But I think this would be a kind of a cool poll thing to throw up there. So this is over 2/3 of Americans have paid off their mortgage or have at least 50% equity in their property. I don't know if I can get that to come up any bigger because I realize it's kind of small for you guys. But yeah, about 30% people have mortgaged homes with greater than 50% equity. About 40% owns their home free and clear. And about 31.5% have mortgaged homes with less than 50% equity. So that is the current status of the U.S. housing market. They had another cool graphic. Let me see if I can share this one with you. So this guy here, of course, it gets smaller as I show it. So this is a graphic that says the share of all cash buyers has reached a new high. right? And so the graphic kind of goes back to 2003, where 7% of the buying pool was all cash. Well, it starts about 2011. You see a big spike where 13% of your buying pool was all cash. And then the beginning of COVID, it starts to get into the 20s for percentage of all cash. And so in 2024, we reached our highest ever 26% all cash offers. And so I think the kind of the storyline is I think people have more equity in their homes now so that we can use this equity to turn around and make those cash offers. Every seller isn't looking for or willing to give a deal on cash, but a lot of them are. Again, all we're trying to do with social in this type of stuff, show that you're the market expert and get people to engage. So I think the first one would be a really cool one to do a poll. So what do we have for thoughts? How much, and if you're looking at, how do I continuously stay on top of my social? I think, one of the ideas that I picked up from Sharon was this content matrix, which is what gave me the idea to just theme every day of the week here so we can really mix it up. And then this will also generate, hopefully, a mix of what we're putting out on social media. So, having a strategy of, hey, Monday's going to be my market Monday. That's when I'm going to put out stuff to my sphere about what's going on in the market. Is anybody using any sort of a calendar, any sort of a content matrix to make sure that their social just stays fresh? Anybody being religious about that? Justin.
I definitely wouldn't say I'm religious about it, but I try. I use just a Meta for like I got a business social on Instagram. But I love KCM. Like they have so many cool things in there, and when they do the market updates and they've got all the slides, I love taking some of those and putting those because it's just super easy content. But it's just nice to have something when you just can't think of anything to put up there.
Yeah, and again, guys, utilize some sort of AI. I think, if you're not on a daily jumping into AI and letting it make your life easier, I really think you're missing out. Right? It doesn't have to be that AI is the final product, but it can eliminate about 80% of the work. You put your final touch on it. It can generate images. You could take the images that you've got here and make them better, enhance them, make them in your voice. But really try and look at this stuff because not only do we need to know it, but we got to show our spheres that we know it and get them to engage. Any other thoughts on the market data that I'm sharing or, kind of a content matrix to keep you guys fresh on social? Anybody else have a strategy that they're using that's working for them?
Hey, Stephen, can you just comment
Yeah.
logistically on how to access KCM and then what I know Perplexity doesn't, like what AI tool is doing the image generation?
ChatGPT is your best bet for image generation.
Yeah.
It can get a little wonky with what it generates depending on how accurate you need it to be. So for like this one where we need like stats, I haven't found it to be that accurate. Right. So if you like, I did my favorite post generation. Well, I got two favorites that it's done for me. One was white lights versus colored lights. It came up with an awesome image, and I just kind of threw a poll out there. The other thing is because I use it a lot is I asked it to do an image. I said, if you were to draw an image of what you think my life is like based on all the conversations that we've had, it came up with a really cool thing. It had like some business stuff in there. It had real estate in there. It had some hockey in there. It had some volleyball in there. It had like a reference to my wife and like a dinner date in there. So like it was pretty impressive. So if you're somebody that uses it a lot, I thought that was a pretty cool prompt. Just have some fun with it. But if you wanted a more specific content generation where you need like the data to be right, Beautiful.ai is a pretty cool AI. That is a slide generator. right? So that's the type of thing where if you wanted to go out and give a presentation, you want to do a first-time home buyer seminar, right? And you grabbed a bunch of data and you threw it into it and you said, okay, I want you to make me a slide presentation based on the data that I'm sharing with you. It does some pretty cool slides, and that's going to get the data right. So that's beautiful.ai.
And then how are we accessing KCM?
So for KCM, that is a Team Rovi thing only. So if you're on Team Rovi, just DM me and we can get you the username and the password.
Okay.
But I think it's like $20 a month if you're not. It's one of those things that you absolutely should be investing in your real estate business. Lauren.
When you're interacting with your AI, tell it what it does well and tell it what it needs to change and it needs to fix. Don't just take the first thing and then get mad at it because it's wrong, right? Say, hey, give it suggestions because the AI is learning based on the input that you give it. And also, if you're looking for data from like a specific point, like if you wanted it to pull KCM data, either get the numbers from KCM and give it to that and have it create something around the data you give it, or ask it to pull data from a specific source. Because what AI does is essentially it goes and scans all the sources that are available and takes like, the most popular information that's out there. So like just play with it, respond to it, go through 6 prompts to get a finalized one. Don't just copy and paste the first one.
Yeah, I think just doubling down on that with regarding where you want the source to be. If without giving it the prompt of what source you want, it's just going to do its best job. But I think a lot of the stuff that KCM puts out there is pretty public. They obviously have some stuff that's private, so you could specifically say, hey, could you make me a social media post specifically taking the past months of KCM data, or based on the past months of KCM data, and I would, spell it out, keepingcurrentmatters.com, I think is their formal website. Could you generate 4 blog post ideas or 4 social media post ideas for me? And then work off of that. Any other questions around the market data stuff? Cool. Let's just open it up. Go ahead, Margareta.
And to generate the actual content, which AI do you recommend? Perplexity?
So Perplexity to me is more research when I just need the answer to something. I don't think I think ChatGPT is more creative. So when I want emails or I want social media posts or I want to, one of the things I did recently was I said, hey, here's all the information about me, Steve Ravithis. Could you create a bio for each one of my social media platforms? Right. And so, I was a little bit more specific than that, but, it knows or it will know, hey, there's this limitation for characters on Instagram, this limitation on LinkedIn, this limitation on YouTube, right? So you could say, hey, here's a bunch of information about me. Could you redo my bios? Right. Obviously, we had a change for me being a broker owner to me now being more of a team leader role. And so I needed to update my bios a little bit. So if you haven't updated your social media profiles, that's an easy way to do it. And I think like for that instance, it'd be more of a ChatGPT thing, right? If I want like what I use for the news headlines every morning to go and see if there's something that I want to do for this call, I've got like a couple, I don't know, 2-3 blogs that I read, but that's where I use Perplexity. And I would just ask Perplexity, hey, in the past 24 hours, has there been any real estate news headlines that I need to talk to my agents about? Right. So that's it. I like it more for research and more specific stuff, if that makes sense. I'm really trying to, guys, get to a point where maybe 25% of my day I'm using AI. I'm probably 10-15%, and I really think it needs to be significantly more. Because I think the people that win at this are you just can get so much more done. But it's like anything else, you got to learn it. You got to learn how to use it. Any other just AI questions or?
Steve, I think we can. We were chatting about this. I don't know when we were together last about using Zapier to potentially be feeding stuff to your inbox, right? So I don't know if it can go as far as, read. Every Monday, tell Zapier to read, keeping current matters and send me a blog post or a photo. If it can interact with ChatGPT, my guess is yes. And we could get real easy with this. It's just literally on Mondays at whatever time you want, stuff's just popping into your email and you've just got to post it. So maybe once I get access to KCM, I can mess around with Zapier to see what that looks like and make a little tutorial video.
Yeah, I think I don't know if it's Zapier or Zapier or whatever, but I am lacking in my skill set with it. But it is one of the most powerful tools that's out there. So would love for you to dive in and see what we can do. I know you can get on the free version, you can get 100 zaps for free. So that much I know. So that means, if you got 30 days in a month and you want, 3 things to happen every single day, you can get that done with Zapier for free without paying a nickel. So, it's pretty powerful. They've got interactions with just about everything. So any other AI tech questions? Margareta.
Can something actually post to your social?
So there's a couple of, there's 100%. There's a lot of stuff that will post. I don't know of anything that will automatically post, and I would say I don't love any of the automatic posting stuff. I just feel like people are smart enough now where they know when it's kind of BS. Like my recommendation, because I've played a lot of that automated stuff, is just take the time to do it yourself. Right. The only automated thing that I would say is like there's a tool called like Hootsuite, and there's a couple other competitors where you can schedule stuff out. So you build it, you put it in there, and then it'll just go out on your schedule. But at least you put your personal touch on it. So that I like. The other one that I like is repurpose.io. Repurpose.io. So that one will take let's say you make a post for Instagram. That one will take it and it can take that same post and put it over to Facebook and TikTok and YouTube and LinkedIn. And so it can take it and put it on all of the other platforms. It does a really, really good job of that, to be honest. But I will say that each of the platforms kind of has its own look and feel, if you will. So a lot of times it won't necessarily a social media post on Instagram is not going to hit exactly the same way on, let's say, Instagram or LinkedIn, for example. I think like YouTube Shorts, TikTok, Instagram Reel, all pretty similar, right? You can get away with posting something pretty similar on those. You got to switch it up a little bit for Facebook, and you got to switch it up a little bit for LinkedIn.
I know Facebook business pages have the Facebook Meta Manager or Business Manager. They keep changing the name, but it's got all that stuff right in it, Margareta. It'll show you a preview of, and because Instagram is Facebook, it'll show you what it's going to look like on Instagram, what it's going to look like on Facebook, and you can post it and then share it to your story and all that stuff and schedule it out. And it'll tell you the recommended times that your audience specifically is on. So it's pretty cool and it's super user friendly. So if you have a business page, I would check that out.
Adam, I don't know if you want to comment. Just I know you've spent spending a lot of time in Real Academy and taking a lot of the trainings, and I know the social media trainings are some of the ones that you've been taking. Any kind of just general feedback from some of those trainings that you're taking and that you'd want to share?
Yeah. So just as a strategy, what I'm doing at the beginning of the week is I'm going through looking at the whole week, seeing what I want to, add to my calendar and register for. I will tell you that I don't know that I've been on a call with more than 10 people, right? And the benefit of that is when I was on the Facebook call and I was on the media call, I'm asking and in order to do these trainings, I think you got to do at least 30 deals a year and be an elite agent. So these are real players, and you've basically got FaceTime with these people, which is pretty cool. So it's a really good small group, but I did take some notes to share, coincidentally enough. So let me just take a look at those.
So while he's pulling that up, I'm just trying to make sure everybody understands what he's saying, right? So you can go to these, they have these sessions, they're recorded, right? But he's saying, hey, look, I can listen to the presentation for 30 minutes, and just about every single one, either during the presentation or at the end, they have a Q&A. You've got one-on-one, as if you're paying for a Facebook ads coach, or you are paying for a social media influencer coach. Free. Right? If the live sessions, you get you've got a coach built in, take advantage of this stuff. Right. And so a strategy is they've got the live calendar up. You can look at the week ahead, look at what's available this week, and take the classes that you want to take, all for free. Right. And if there's one that you're like, hey, I just want to freshen up, and a replay is going to be fine, and I can watch it at 1.5x, right? Then do that. And then maybe next week, now you've got a baseline of an understanding of what you want to do with your listing presentation, let's say. And now you next week, when that class comes on live, get on there and you can ask educated questions with somebody that spent a lot of time working on their listing presentation. So Adam, did you want to continue?
Yeah.
And in there?
Yeah, I just found it. So this is specific to the, I'm about to get hit by a bus. 1 second there. Like a small bus. Anyway, so this one was the video lab. He just threw out some apps to use. StreamYard, Ecamm, Riverside. These are apps that allow you to basically do live streaming. He said when you're doing, one of the topics we were talking about was doing videos. And we kind of talked about how boring the traditional, like, welcome to my new listing. And it's just a basic rundown of the property. So in addition to, hey, what can 350,000 get me in West Springfield? He said, just make sure you're always putting a hook within the first 3 to 5 seconds of why you should stay till the end of the video, right? So some examples are neighborhood tour, right? So that could just be a video, literally of the street or the neighborhood if it's in a nice, really nice neighborhood. He said, just make sure you're giving them something that Zillow doesn't offer. So obviously Zillow doesn't have any B-roll footage of, what literally does the street look like, or what does the park look like, or maybe there's a nice stream in the back of the house. Who knows what the situation is? Maybe it's next to Robinson Park and you can show B-roll Robinson Park. So just make sure you're putting something on there that's not on Zillow. He said, I think he was from Detroit or something. He said they have a lot of negative statistics, like, crime rate and stuff. And he said, you don't have to necessarily be doing a video, in the bad area. He said you could be, he called it the open loop concept, basically talking about something, but having a completely different background. He said, be cognizant of the time in front of the video, you physically, right? So if you're doing a tour, it shouldn't necessarily always be just your face. If it is, just make sure you're like in the bottom left corner. So that was some of the tips from that. The other one was Facebook ads. So for us down here in Florida, a lot of us live in communities for anywhere from 500 houses to 1,500 houses. So the idea that we came up with there was to essentially go through a public record and identify all the owners of these properties. You can then do something called skip tracing, where you can identify their email and phone number. You upload this audience, they call it a custom audience, into Facebook. And now you can start retargeting just this group of people. So for instance, if I have a new listing in my neighborhood, or I want to come off as the listing guru in my community, I could post a video that says, are you considering selling your home? Here's the top 3 questions when you're interviewing your next agent to sell your home, right? You send them to a landing page, they put in their email, they get this, one-page PDF that you put together, and now you've got their email and can market to them. So that's probably the best takeaway I had from that one. A lot of effort to get that list initially, but once you have, like, I already did a farming postcard, so I already have, I don't know, 400 of my names. So I've just got to go back and look and see all the new houses in my community. But once you put it together, you can just continually market to these people on Facebook. And he said it was like, because retargeting is such a small group, he said you're talking 50 to 100 bucks a month to show up in front of their face, probably like 8 times, 2 times a week for 4 weeks. So that was some of the notes I had.
Yeah, good stuff. I mean, there's some really technical stuff in there, and actually, nice lead in for my plans for Tuesdays, which is going to be Tactical Tuesday. We got a little tactical today, but these are some of the things that once you can learn 1 or 2 of these strategies and implement them, that's a different way to do geographic farming than to be just doing mailers. Right? Can we do it on social? Can we get in front of the group of people that you want to be the market expert for? Anybody else want to chime in? Hear anything that you wanted to add value on?
Steve.
Yeah.
I just wanted to say, like, this is all great stuff and amazing. And I know for me, I'm looking what I can do better in 2025, what I can do different. I think, like you said on the call the other day, it's super important that you take 1 or 2 of the, when Adam was talking about, or you were talking about, the university, there is so much on there that it can be overwhelming. Like, just take one thing. Like, I love what Adam just said about getting those emails, and how, yeah, it's going to be a lot of work to start off, but once you got that in place, that's a system, and now that's moving. I think that's wonderful. So I think it's just uber important to look individually, where do I want to make a 2% change, and then becoming the master at that.
Yeah. Yeah, and that is our goal for 2025. I'm gonna, I'm building this out of 26 systems that we are going to install. So some of this stuff's going to come at you at the right time, and some of it's going to come at you at the wrong time. But my goal is 26 2-week sprints where we build. We might say, hey, we're going to spend 2 weeks on a geographic farm, right? And we might say, hey, here's 3 different ways to do geographic farm. You can pick a farm. Right? If you're in Florida and you live in a 500-person community, right? Let's go, and we're going to do postcards. And for the next 2 years, you're going to commit to doing postcards to the 500 people. Or, you know what? If you're in New England and you don't live in a community, maybe we're going to do retargeting on Facebook. That's going to be your geographic farming. Right? So we'll give maybe a couple of different options. And for 2 weeks, we are going to work on building out that system in your business so that is installed now. Right? And so my goal is, can I give you guys some different options depending on where you are, right? And where you are in your real estate career, right? You might say, I'm just getting started. Maybe my geographic farm is literally going to be my street. Let me just start with that. I don't have the money or the time to build out my entire community, but I want to at least make sure that everybody on my street, right? So we come up with some different tiers depending on your level. And then some different ways to attack it. So I will keep you guys posted. That is what I am working on over the break. I've got a pretty good initial setup on 26 different ideas. So I'll be fine tuning that over break, and we're going to hit 2025 hard starting Jan 1. So having said that, let's take a look at what trainings are available this week. Where'd my calendar go? That's weird. Bear with me.
Just keep in mind, to Chris's point, your farm could be your past clients. So one of the other ideas that they threw around was just taking all the emails from your database and just farming your database. So obviously for us down here in Florida, it's a little bit different, but just keep that in mind too. It doesn't have to be your neighborhood. It could be, anything.
And to that as well, don't overthink it, just do it. Because not to stroke Steve's ego because I'm not at all, or Adam's. However, I don't think for some people that are newer realize the tool that the Rovithis brothers give is amazing. And you don't get that anywhere else. So truly, if you just take it, digest it, and just do it, Don't worry about what it looks like perfecting. I am a perfect testimony of walking in and knowing nothing and just implementing and then just going high. So just do it.
Thank you, Chris. Your gift card's coming in the mail. All right. Yeah, so here we go. Just three trainings today. How to create a SEAL team. So if any of you guys on the call are thinking about getting into building a little bit of a team out, this SEAL team training would be for you. The fortune is in the follow-up. We've been talking a lot about being a master of your CRM. We've got our Thursday pipeline reviews with Lauren. And this is a training that Lauren doesn't know yet, but I'm going to be making sure that she is taking, because I do believe the fortune is in the follow-up. So let's see if anything that we can fine tune. And then mastering the buyer presentation. This is obviously, with the new NAR laws, super critical that we can get these things nailed down. That when somebody meets with you, they walk away and go, man, there's nobody else I could even imagine working with. So those are the three trainings, noon, and what is that, 4 o'clock on mastering the buyer presentation. So jump on the training today, up your skill level, and come back and teach us what you learned tomorrow. So have a great Monday, you guys. We'll do it one more time tomorrow. We'll take a little bit of break for the holidays, and we'll jump back on Monday. All right.
Adam, get your coat out, buddy. Get that short sleeve off and get your coat out. See you soon.
See you guys.